Peace, fam. What's good? It's your brother Cool. What's going on? The weather's starting to get nice again. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Um, First of all, peace and blessings. Love and light, time and Ra. Thank you for shining upon me another day. It's good to see you, by the way. It's gonna be a good summer. I should say it's gonna be a great new year. Great start to a new year. So, I haven't been on this thing here for a minute. Um, you know what I'm saying? I've been busy. I've been doing a lot of studying. Been doing a lot more studying, organizing, trying to get things, you know what I'm saying, prepared behind the scenes. Not everything is for the public, you know what I'm saying? So I'm organizing with my tribe to get ourselves operating in the right footsteps, you know what I'm saying? So with that being said, we're doing what we need to do to make sure that we we exercise all the rights we have to the maximum. And that's putting everyone on notice, both domestically and internationally. Domestically meaning uh, every entity or franchise within the confederated or the federated 50 states of the United States corporation, which is incorporated in Delaware. You see what I'm saying? So understanding that, we got to draw our own lines. You know what I'm saying? And anytime you hear reference to the term boundary, just know that a boundary can be real or it can be fake. You see what I'm saying? A border, however, can never be artificial, but a boundary can be artificial. Just like depending on how you contract and how you self-determine your status within your society will determine whether or not you are classified as a United States citizen or an American citizen. You know what I'm saying? Being that American citizens are all Moors. Every Moor, every Moor on this continent, from this continent, is an American citizen. However, if you don't acknowledge that that is what you are, then that is not what you are. Because you only are what you are until you acknowledge that. Right? So yeah, prior to me waking up and being a Moor, I classified myself as black or African American. You know what I'm saying? Persons are colored. Whenever they said minority, I put myself in that bracket. So being that I was always a Moor, I never stopped being a Moor due to the fact that I did not acknowledge, you know what I'm saying, my own national character and my bloodline. That made it that pretty much made it uh how could I say this? It made it unusable in my hands. My birthright became unusable in my hands because I wasn't aware that I had it. So until you are aware that you have it, there's no way to exercise that. That's why they say, um, if you don't know your rights are, if you don't know your rights, then you waive them. So the only way to not waive your rights is to know them, and when you and enforcing them, speaking up, not just complying. You know what I'm saying? Comply is a slave word. All right, slaves comply. We don't need to comply. We need to understand the process and then work it in our own way, in our own fashion, without affecting our position. So this is why I know a lot of people thinking that once they associate with the so-called United States, which is in the District of Columbia, Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17, you know what I'm saying? They're thinking, oh, just because I went back into the system, right? I'm gonna use myself as an example. So because I went back into the system, now I am at a disadvantage, or I'm under the jurisdiction again. No, the hell I'm not. No, the hell I am not. The only way, because you gotta understand, the United States corporation is all is commercial. Everything is commerce. It has nothing to do with the natural world, natural way of living. This is why they sell fake foods in the groceries. All right, they sell fake seeds. They sell fake fruits, fake vegetables. Anything that is seedless is not real. Nothing in this world is seedless. Nothing. That would be like you seeing a newborn baby with no belly button. Where'd you come from? You came from a test tube? So this is the same question you got to ask yourself when you walk into a grocery store and you see like seedless watermelons or seedless grapes. You know what I'm saying? Even the bananas, they are too are seedless. The bananas are not organic in their own right because they're supposed to have seeds in them. You know what I'm saying? So being able to differentiate between the real and the fake, everything has been split right down the middle between artificial and official. All right? Either you official or you artificial. So what I'm saying is this is the day and age where all the information is out. We don't need to look too hard to find things. You know what I'm saying? We got plenty of brilliant minds who have taken their time and their energy to put information out before us, before the ones who put in the work before us were putting in the work today. You know what I'm saying? Like myself and other Muslims are out there trying to uplift fallen humanity who's actually doing the work to save themselves and not wait for a handout. You know what I'm saying? We're not waiting for a handout. We're just declaring that this is what it is. Non pro tunc. Now for then. You know what I'm saying? This is what it is, and this is how we're gonna rock out. And like I said, a lot of people be like, well, how do where do you get the permission for that, to grant that? You know where I got the permission from? My creator. My tribe gets their permission from their creator. Us collectively, we exist due to our creators. So we have a place here in this world. It's been destined for us to be here at this time. This isn't by accident that we're here. This isn't by accident that you see some dude sitting in front of you with a feather, a tassel, you know what I'm saying, and a head wrap. Growing up, for me, growing up in a time where it was all about jerseys. You know what I'm saying? It was all about pants sagging a little bit. You know what I'm saying? It was all about the freshest fitted. You know what I mean? It was about the freshest cut. It was about the freshest gear, the freshest jewelry and stuff like that. Like, I have changed so much. This is the jewelry I wear now. You see what I'm saying? Stones. I went back into nature. So it's not really that my mentality changed in terms of what I like. I always liked jewelry. When I was younger, I wore diamonds. I wore chains and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I like fresh belts. I like fresh hats, fedoras. I used to wear all that type of stuff. Scullies, fedoras, you know what I'm saying? Ties, bow ties. All that stuff appealed to me. It's just the energy or the form of that energy changed once I came into knowledge of myself. Because this is something we've always done as people. We've always been ill. We've always been ill in everything we do. Anything and everything we do, we some ill-ass motherfuckers. Nobody can take that from us. We are ill. The crazy part is we are so ill, we're too ill for ourselves. Meaning we are so good. We are so good at the things we do on this plane that we get full of ourselves because it comes so easy. And we take that shit for granted. For people who have to work harder, 10 times, 20 times harder. So you try to understand exactly now why are we under colonial occupation, right? We're under colonial occupation because we got too full of ourselves. That's why we're under colonial occupation. Pride. You know why we experience slavery? Because of our own stupid ass pride. Our own stupid ass pride. Foolish ass pride. Pride and stupidity. But it ain't our fault. This is the system that we've been brought up in. You see what I'm saying? Mom and dad had to go to work. That was the game plan. Mom and dad go to work. Mom and dad got to stay busy to put food on the table, provide clothing and shelter for the children. So guess what? When mom and dad are at work, the children, guess what we do with the children? We drop the children off to the goddamn colonizers so that they can get civilized, just like the 5 civilized tribes. We've always been civilized. We didn't need foreigners to come over here and civilize us. It was actually the opposite way. You know what I'm saying? So understanding that mindset, you know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna put it for you like this. You can have a group of Moors, right? See, when this shit get real, not that it's not real already, but when this shit get really real, like when you can actually see the unseen happening in front of you, you're gonna realize that it don't matter how many more. It could be a pack of Moors, a group of Moors, 15 Moors in a cipher. I'm gonna tell you what. If 14 out of them 15 Moors ain't operating properly, meaning they ain't got their body politic, they ain't got their free national name, they don't classify in the commercial system as black or African American. Either either you classify as American Indian, white person, create your own box for Moor, create your own box for Moroccan, or create your own box for Asiatic. And all these things have numbers within the Justice Department. All right? You look that up. What's the number for Moor in the Justice Department? I know it. Do you know it? You know what I'm saying? I would say it, but then a lot of you would just take my word for it and just run with that. No, look it up. Figure it out. That's what makes things stick. All right? My purpose here is not to answer every question that comes my way. My purpose here is to show you how someone can just do it. How someone can just do it. Just do it. You know what I'm saying? But it requires hard work, and it requires the people thinking in like term. This is what you call your family. People who think like you, that's your real family. People who see what you see and they can relate to you, and they don't think you crazy when you start talking about political science, or when you start talking about the stars or ancestors and shit like that. That's your family. Because it's a normal thing for us to talk about the stars, nature, cycles, mysticism, voodoo. All that shit other people be afraid of. This is our natural culture and customs. And we ain't got nothing to be afraid of. We created those things. So why should we be afraid of the very things we created? You know what I'm saying? We created them for a purpose. I say we should get back to utilizing them. You know what I'm saying? So going back to what I was saying, you can have a cipher of 14, 15 Moors. If them Moors is not right, you know what I'm saying? If they are not right, because you could be a Moor and still be in the system as black African American. Did you know that? Did you know that you could proclaim your nationality, have it on a public record, but still do business as a slave? Did you know that? This is what our brothers and sisters are doing when we choose to go back in the system and operate under those straws, under those slave names, after we proclaimed our nationality. We're supposed to do business in our free national name. And that's another thing that I got an issue with, right? Because a lot of us want to say, you know what I'm saying, a lot of Moors, you know, we'll have our different views in terms of what Prophet El Hajj Sharif Abdul Ali left for us. But once again, getting caught up with the man and not looking at his works. You know what I'm saying? Pay attention. Pay attention. Okay? Spirituality is not something you have to work towards. We are already spiritual beings. The proof of how spiritual, or the level of spiritualness that you are within yourself, will be manifested through the works you do here. Your fruits. That's what shows the world your spirituality. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to go and you know what I'm saying, spend too much time on being on trying to be spiritual. Yes, it is important to be in tune with that, with yourself, because we are spiritual beings having a human experience. So once again, you know what I'm saying, spirituality is something we are. It's something that we are. Now, our spirituality has a purpose. Or I should say, that's what drives our spirituality. The purpose. What are you here for? What are you here to do? Once you find that purpose, guess what happens? With anyone who finds a purpose in their life, they start creating things. What do you create? A movement. You create a business. You create events. You create ways for people to survive. You create things people can use to make finances. You create avenues for people. You create avenues for yourself. You build things. You know what I'm saying? You have all these things to show, right? Show and prove. Show and prove. Prove. Prove in itself means to manifest. That's what it means to prove. Yo, prove it to me. Yo, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Yo, I'm a free American national. We free. We don't got to follow by these statutes, codes, and protocols. Da-da-da-da-da. Prove it to me. So when someone says prove it to me, what they're saying is show me. Show me in real life, real time, how this works. Show me it can be done. Since you the dude talking about it, do it. Show me. Okay? Show me. And that's what it boils down to. Now is no longer the time for talking. Because in the age of Pisces, right? That was the age we were in before Aquarius. That was the age of belief. I believe. We're in the age of Aquarius now. Aquarius is I know. I know. Aquarius means I know. I don't believe. I know. I know what I got to do. I know who I am. I'm going to be what I know. I'm not going to say what I know and then be something else. That's hypocritical. That is not spirituality. To be spiritual, you got to align with your spiritual side, which is your thoughts, the abstract. And you got to align it with your physical side, the flesh, the body. So you have your spirit, which is your thoughts, the mind, and then you have the body, which is the tool to manifest those thoughts in the mind. See, so if I talk to you about, no different. If I was the type of brother, you see me, you know what I'm saying, real life, we talking about all this Moorish history and stuff like that, and then you ask me something simple. So, bro, how do you put your stuff on the record? Or like, how do you go about having that shit reflected within the system that you're not someone else's property, that you are your own free man? How do you do that? And then I respond and say, well, you know what I'm saying, I haven't filed anything on the record. I haven't done none of that, you know what I'm saying, but I'm a Moor though. Nigga, you false flagging. Nobody respects that. You see, that's common. That's a common thing, right? Everyone can agree that's kind of weird. You're over here talking about all this, but then you're not living what you're preaching. You see what I'm saying? That's a falsism. That's called false. How you call that? In the Bible says there'll be many false prophets. All right, so don't fall for no other false prophet. Any person that you are looking to outside of yourself is a false prophet, because in this reality, there's only one truth that every person here knows, and that is self. Self is the only truth. Self is the only truth. Self is the only truth. So, with that being said, even going into like I said, the permission aspect of being how to operate. A lot of people want to say, you start a church, do a 501c3, 501c3, 501c3. When in all actuality, we shouldn't just say don't do a 501c3 and say nothing after that. Where is the remedy? If this is the wrong direction, what is the right direction? We need to stop as people giving remedy or talking about the problems without giving no solutions. Where's the game plan? Where's something logical and reasonable that I can look at? A plan of action that will show, hey, all right, so this is the big picture. In order to make this manifest, A, B, C, D, E, all the way to Z. We have to lay things out like that for ourselves. Because doing it for ourselves helps each other. Because guess what? Now you have experience, or you have a knowledge or information on a particular subject that I may be lacking on. You have the pieces to the puzzle that I'm missing, and I got the pieces to the puzzle that you're missing. But don't think that makes that anyone is more important than the other, because we're not. We're all in this shit together. Whether you are a slave, whether you classify as a slave, or whether you are being yourself. And the reason why I say being yourself is when you are yourself, you're free. I've never seen a person who is themselves and they're a slave. The only type of people I see as slaves are people who have to suppress their natural instincts, who they naturally are. So like I said, we're naturally American people. So now suppressing our natural instincts by classifying as Smith, Jones, Johnson, Frederick, Douglass, yada da, yada da. You know what I'm saying? These things do not resonate with our being. This is why it's hard for us to manifest, because we're trying to manifest with someone else's tools. And the tools that we've been given are very, very shitty tools. And we are very high class, high quality people. You know what I'm saying? So if we have the mind to do the work, then we need the tools, you know what I'm saying, to help complement the mind to get the work done. So we got the minds here, right? We're awakening, but the tools are out of date. They need to be thrown in the trash, and we need to go get some new tools. Those new tools come in the form of your free national name. You know what I'm saying? Getting a identification card with your free national name. Creating a foreign trust outside the boundaries. Look up what the term boundary mean. Outside the boundaries of the United States. This is how you come back into the real world. This is how you get out of maritime and admiralty law and come back onto land, having your own trust, your own foreign trust, your own religious trust, right? And then within that religious trust, guess what? You form a state that has its own state constitution, that has its own state bylaws, that has its own protocols, that has its own departments of government to do different things like education, like a consulate, like a private investment, you know what I'm saying, fund. So that way all the funds from the tribe goes into one place. It's not going into 10 millions of other places. It's being concentrated into one place. 508C1A, all right? Title 26, 508C1A, all right? That's how me and my tribe are operating. We're operating as a church. A church. We're bringing it back into ecclesiastical law, right? Because all true governments are really theocracies. Theocracy meaning that the basis of that government is derived on the principle that we all derive our powers from a supreme creator. All right? And the mere fact that we are in existence, the mere fact that Sunel Shi was created shows that this was that this organization or this government was mandated to be put here by the creator. You see what I'm saying? Because the creator lives in us. Every single one of us has a spot inside this shell where the creator rests. You know what I'm saying? So since the creator lives in all of us, you know what I mean? And the mere fact that we are in existence as people, going back to our natural culture and customs, creating our own tribes and provinces, once again, going back into our own trust, securing our own property, living communally again, together as one, operating as one body and one mind. That is mandated by the creator. So we are in existence because it was supposed to be. We here right now. We in existence. We supposed to be here. Our existence now is mandated. And the things we create on this plane, either individually and as a collective, are also mandated by God, whether good or bad. Because you gotta look at both sides of the scale. You need the positive as much as you need the negative. So you can't say, oh, well, the negative's evil. Just focus on the positive. That's not my yacht. That is not my yacht. That's gonna be complete and utter destruction. And I said destruction because there's no beauty in destruction. You see what I'm saying? But there can be beauty in order and chaos, but never in destruction. You understand what I'm saying? Because chaos, there's nothing being destroyed in chaos. Chaos just means things are out of fucking whack. You know what I'm saying? Shit is out of order. That just means put it back in order. It can still be salvageable. You know, things can be saved from chaos. But once something is destroyed, it's destroyed. That form is gone. You know what I'm saying? It's already shifted. So here's the crazy shit about being spiritual beings too, and also understanding how that ties into us being ourselves as nationals on our own homeland. By being ourselves and being spiritual and knowing who we automatically reflect that to the outer realm. So it don't matter in what day, age, time, place that I'm in. You understand what I'm saying? I know myself, so it don't matter where I'm at. I will never change to fit the environment. The environment will have to bend to my will and make room for me. You see what I'm saying? It's a different type of ball game than assimilation or just fitting in. You know what I'm saying? Or just complying. It ain't about complying. It's about being yourself and understanding that when you put your spirit into that, when God claims that this is who you are, meaning when I say God, I'm talking about you. When you claim that this is who you are, this is what it is, this is what I know, not what I believe, this is what I know to be truth. You understand what I'm saying? That will reflect. That energy will reflect. And so, like I said, in places where I go, no one ever says, hey, take that off. What are you doing with that headdress? Like, nah, there's nothing like that happening. There's no one giving me permission when or where to wear my headdress. You see what I'm saying? This is my religious headdress. This shows my national character, where I come from, what I know of my own ancestry. No one can take that from me. So once I know I'm not black, you can't trick me into saying into being black unless I consciously choose to do that, unless I choose to go back to sleep. You know what I'm saying? And that's worse than death. And that's worse than death, if you ask me. You know what I'm saying? So being, once again, that we're spiritual beings. If we just understand who we are, right? If we really understand that we're spiritual beings, go into yourself and start manifesting. Manifest how you appear to society. Manifest who you are. Manifest what type of status you want to create for yourself. Self-determination. See what I'm saying? I'm Kumare Su-El. I wasn't Kumare Su-El like 3 years ago. Know what I mean? I was not cool at that time. I was Reginald. Different mindset, different frame mind, different time and space, different type of energy. You know what I'm saying? So the crazy part is, because I know who I am today and I carry myself, you know what I'm saying, like that, it doesn't mean that this energy was ever destroyed, right? Because energy can't be destroyed. It can only change form. So what do you think happens spiritually now, right? If we do not embrace our own culture, if we do not give our own culture, aka our own ancestors, energy, you know what happens? It doesn't die. It doesn't get diminished. It doesn't get destroyed. It transfers. So now, because of the fact we have disregarded our own cultures and customs, and our own, you know what I'm saying, practices as people, other people take it and other people pick it up. Don't you realize anything we leave behind gets picked up by another race, and then they make profit off that? You see what I'm saying? So that's where I tune in the spiritual aspect of that, meaning that if we do not occupy the space that's been made for us to do the works we need to do here, if we do not occupy, you know what I'm saying, that space, someone else will occupy it. Meaning if we don't embrace our culture and our heritage and who we are as people, someone else is going to steal our shit. Then that happened. Then we lose our birthrights in 1774. You see what I'm saying? So it's not that it was destroyed. The energy was rearranged because we were no longer giving our energy to ourselves. We were giving our energy to the idol gods of Europe. You see what I'm saying? So by doing that, the energy of our ancestors, that still is here. It still functions. It still exists. It'll take on another form. So if we don't want to take on our own shit, it still has to be put into use. It ain't just going to sit there. Energy don't get destroyed. So if we're not using our own state of mind, our own principles, our own laws, our own traditions, and our own customs, see what I'm saying? Someone else is going to use it for their benefit. So I'm not in the business of using other people's shit to claiming other people's stuff so I can get ahead in life. That's what we were all trying to do, being black African American. We were trying to get ahead in life by using someone else's shit. All right? So understanding in this day and age, all right, according to the Gregorian calendar, they say it's 2017. However, the new year comes in March. All right, March 21st, 22nd is the first day of the new year. That's called the spring equinox. That's dealing with the, in the Bible when you look at, you gotta sacrifice the lamb and shed the lamb's blood. The lamb's blood is the sun rays. You know what I'm saying? What is the lamb? Bull. Okay, Aries is a bull. Aries is also red, meaning that red represents that what? The root chakra. Okay? So the root chakra is red. You understand what I'm saying? That represents fire, just like blood. So when you see the sun sacrificing its blood, right? Spilling its blood, meaning its sun rays onto my face, onto the grass, onto the greenery, so things start to grow anew. So the sun spills its blood in spring equinox in order to bring fresh new plant life. And then we call this, oh, it's springtime, but it's really the new year. This is when trees start getting their leaves back, colors start blossoming, flowers start coming out, all types of beautiful fruits. You know what I'm saying? So this is the new year. So even that whole December 31st shit is off. You see what I'm saying? We've been completely taken off our natural course of nature. So even with these months, there's 28 days to a month. There's nothing about 31 days. There is 28 days a month. There are 28 days in the cycle of the moon. Pay attention to our women and you'll understand how the months go, because they catch their cycle every 28 days. Stay to nature. So the moon does the moon cycles, you know what I'm saying? Moon cycles 28 days. That's when you hit the 4 quarters of the moon, right? Quarter moon, quarter moon. You got the half moon, then you got the other quarter moon. You know what I'm saying? Then you got the new moon. So it's not 2017. The Christian calendar, yes, but being that March just passed, March 21st, it's the new year, and according to our laws and our own traditions, it is actually the year 1432. As of March 21st, all right? It's the year 1432. I know a lot of Moors are thinking 2017, this whole year going down to December 31st is not the new year yet. No, December 31st is not the new year. That's the fiscal new year for the corporation. Fiscal meaning commercial. That's the new year for the business, meaning it's the new tax year. So December 31st, all these corporations, while you getting turned up and drinking and balling out and shit, these corporations are doing the same thing and celebrating the financial year that they had. And they're welcoming in another year of taxing slaves, of high sales tax, of fucking people over with their finances, keeping people barely above water so they have to struggle. This is what that celebration is. But for us being ignorant, we're thinking, oh, it's the new year. Brand new year, 2017. No, my nigga. We've been taken so far off course, it's crazy. So far, of course. All right? So this is 1432. And if you don't believe me, read the Treaty of Peace and Friendship. All right? Equivalent to 1786. All right? It was the year 1200. Do your research. On the 25th day of Shaban, a.k.a. January, according to the Gregorian calendar. All right? So we signed the treaty on the 25th day of Shaban in the year 1200. According to the Christians, we signed the treaty on July 25th, you know what I'm saying, 1786. That's a big difference from 1200 to the year 1786. That's about a 586 year difference. So then you got to think about it. If the United States was created in 1774 and it's the year 2017, it has not been no goddamn 500 years. So that's another lie. We've only been in chattel slavery for, it's only been about 240 something years, yo. When you really pay attention to that, 200 years, because for me, I look at a generation, 100 years. Each generation has 100 years. That's literally you from the time you're born to the time you're 100. That's a whole generation. So if the United States is only about 240 years old, you know what I'm saying? And we've so-called been in chattel slavery for 500 years, which that spell got killed. because the mathematics don't add up. If the United States is in existence for only 240 plus years, how can we be in chattel slavery to the United States for 500 plus years? The math don't add up. You know what I'm saying? The math just don't add up. So understanding the time we are in is extremely important, because that also has to do with jurisdiction. You know what I'm saying? So we have not been in chattel slavery as long as we think. This shit happened to our great grandmother. That's as far back as it goes. Our great grandmother. Our great grandmother. Because then you got to think about this. When they're saying so-called Christopher Columbus discovered America in 1492, you got to take out, you're going to have to subtract about 586 years off of that to be in your right time, Aboriginal man and woman. This ain't our time. This is daytime. And daytime is up. Daytime is up. We got to go back to our time, or our cycles. All right? So this is the year 1432. And like I said, if you think my math is wrong, read up on the Treaty of Peace and Friendship. That's where I got my numbers from. All right? It was the year 1200 for us when we signed that treaty. And it was the year 1786 for the Europeans when they did. Meaning the same event happened, but in two different times. No different than here on the West Coast, Pacific Standard Time, everything is 3 hours ahead. If you go to the East Coast, everything is 3 hours behind. But you can't say that events are still happening in the same cycle. So I'm talking to you right now, right? I'm 3 hours ahead apparently. Someone on the East Coast may be having lunch right now, the same time I'm making this video. But that's two completely different time zones. One is 3 hours ahead, the other one's 3 hours behind. But there's an event happening at the same time, even though they're living within two false realities or aspects of time. That shows you too that time isn't real. But like I said, events are happening at the same time, regardless of the stupid time differences. So just because I'm 3 hours ahead here, doesn't mean there isn't something happening in the same moment, irregardless of what time it is in that particular time zone. You see what I'm saying? So I could call someone right now and say hi. And it could be the next day for me, right? It could be 12 a.m. If I call the East Coast at 12 a.m., it'll be 9 p.m. For anyone on the East Coast. So when I call you, I'm literally calling you from the next day. You're still in the day before me. But for you, you're speaking to me in the next day. So you're speaking to me essentially in the future, right? Because I'm in the future, and you're so-called in the past. Yet we're still having a conversation. I'm just trying to get you to see how all of it is false. So regardless of the time, cycles, things happen in the same moment. So, like I said, we had our own calendars. We had our own stuff. You see what I'm saying? Go back to our stuff. Give ourselves back energy so that we can flourish and prosper again. All right? And if we don't, someone else is going to take that and use that for their benefit. We had enough of that. It's time to be ourselves. We are way too damn ill to try to be pretending to be someone else when everyone else is trying to be like us. We too ill. We are too ill. To play ourselves like that. So I ain't about playing myself no more, man. I'm just gonna be myself because I love myself. I love everything about me. I love my culture. I love my history. I love my people. I love building governments, organizations to move forward. I'm excited. You know what I'm saying? This is gonna be a fantastic new year. Fantastic. Fantastic. Because we're waking up, man. And if you still on that consciousness stuff, right? High level consciousness and stuff like that, but you still operating or you still manifesting a reality that is fake, meaning the reality that you're manifesting is when you're outside of your private capacity, you're Smith, Jones, and Johnson. You're black African American. You just comply with everything. You assimilate with everything. You associate with everything. We got to draw our borders, all right? We got to draw lines between what we do and what other people do. Because other people don't do the same things we do. Not everyone can 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 not everyone can gain, you know what I'm saying, aspects or understanding of that zodiac constitution like we do, because that law was written specifically for us, the star people. So if you're not of the star people, you're not going to understand it or interpret it to the level of the star people, because that's who it was made for. That pattern was made for that puzzle. It's that. So this piece is only going to fit like that. If I'm talking about for Moors, it's only going to fit like that. Or if I make it more clear, it's only going to fit like this, right? If we had to call this piece an M, that's how it fits. Other than that, if you're not operating to where everything fits to you like an M, to you or more, you're gonna get resistance and a lot of restriction, and that ain't good. And that causes people to get frustrated. And that also causes people to be like, well, see, this shit ain't real. This shit ain't real. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna go back to the niggerdom. Yo, don't go back to the niggerdom. There are brothers who look like you and me who are lying to you. They're not telling you everything. What they're telling you is you got to be down with this sect or this club. You know what I'm saying? You gotta come to church, and if after a while it starts to feel like a religion, like where is my own self autonomy and freedom? I thought I was joining a self autonomous group of other self autonomous people, but what I found myself doing is I am self autonomous, and I'm about to join a group of people who are looking at one person as their leader rather than looking at themselves as leader. Rather than looking at one person as leader, we should all be looking at ourselves as leader. We are all prophets. All of us are prophets. You know what I'm saying? But until you acknowledge that, it will not happen. It will not manifest. All right? You can't skip spirituality and go into manifestation. You don't get the physical first and then spiritual. Spiritual is what we are. The mere fact that I'm breathing air right now as I'm talking to you is me being spiritual. Breath. I'm speaking to you. That's spiritual too. My breath. My word. You see what I'm saying? My math. Gotta be yourself. All right? So if you don't fit into people's certain cycles, then they'll be like, well, you can't be a part of this group, or you can't be yourself because you're not following our rules and our customs. We're not children, yo. We are not children. I'm not nationalizing so I can be told what to do by another Moor. I nationalize so I can be my own boss. So I can build with my other Moors. So I can walk with my Moors, not have Moors walk behind me. I'm not interested in that. I'm not interested in having people walk behind me. What I am interested in is people walking with me, because we get a lot done walking side by side. We could get a whole lot done. You know what I'm saying? We could get a whole lot done. Peace. Peace. The crows always like to come and pay me a visit. You know what I'm saying? Peace, King. You already know what time it is. You know what I'm saying? So, also, people look at you funny sometimes, sitting there talking to animals. I talk to animals all the time. I know they understand me. I know they see my vibration. You know what I'm saying? I know they see my auric field. So, yo, anyone who makes you feel funny about doing anything that you feel is awesome inside your body is not of you. That is not your family. They don't share your. They're not thinking like you. They're thinking you weird rather than them accepting who you are. I wish. Hey man, you want to come down and join me? You want to come down and join me? Huh? I wish you would, man. I'd love your company. That would be freaking awesome if the crow landed on my shoulder right here, boy. What? That would be silly. Whenever you want, ancestor, you can land on my shoulder, all right? Whenever you're ready. It's right here. Or whatever you choose. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Man, life is life is simple, man, if we choose not to complicate it. If we just choose to trust ourselves. Trust ourselves, man. We have everything we need. We just gotta trust ourselves, man. And not allow ourselves to become food. You know what I'm saying? He definitely agrees with that, or she agrees with that. You know what I'm saying? Not allow ourselves to become food. You know what I'm saying? For vampires or people who choose not to tell you the whole truth, but they tell you just enough to keep you coming back. They tell you just enough to make sure you got to come back. That is slavery, son. I ain't with that. I'm with laying the whole thing out to you, and then you make your own decision. That's ma'at. That's just. That's fair. You know what I'm saying? Taking away someone's choice is not just. Well, if you don't do this, then you can't be a part of this temple. Or if you don't act like this, or change your religion, or let these things go, then you can't be a part of our cipher. And it's like, how is that uplifting fallen humanity? So what you're really saying is, you're not trying to uplift fallen humanity. You're just trying to uplift certain people who will comply with your rules and treat you like God, so they can pamper your ego. Check yourself, sheiks. Check yourself. And the reason why I speak like this is because it's been over 100 years. Where's our land? Why don't we own any land? If we're really doing the works like we're supposed to, why don't we have any land? Why don't we have a big ass, like, mansion ass type of state with like 500 to 1,000 rooms? You know what I'm saying? The Moorish community. Why don't we have that? Why don't we have a closed gated community where the security and all that is nothing but Moors? Why don't we have that? I don't think it would take 100 years to get that done. And it's been more than 100 years. Where is that? And if it's out there, why is the information not being dispensed equally to all Moors? Because a Moor is a Moor, regardless of how he think or what he do. A Moor is a Moor. You know what I'm saying? You're a Moor. Now, if you understand that and you raise yourself to a place of nobility to where you can act and conduct yourself like that, then you are a proper person. You are in your proper persona, but you ain't gonna wear no fez and then go and try to go and steal shit. You ain't gonna wear no fez and try to rob someone. You ain't gonna wear no fez and try to do injury harm. You know what I'm saying? Or commit any type of assault on people with a fez on and thinking you gotta get out of jail free card. Why? Because you're a national? No. It makes it worse, actually. You know how bad it would be if I got caught stealing something? Am I free in my proper person? As a majority? My God, man, I would get the box. You understand? For stealing a bag of chips, I'll probably get a few months in the box. Because I know better. I've stated on the record that I know better. I've stated that I'm not a minor. So anything that I do, I'm doing it with the understanding of what I'm doing. Full understanding and intent. So why would I do that? No, I got to live the life accordingly. You know what I'm saying? We were too busy building things to steal from other people. We were too busy building things to steal from other people. Let's get busy. All right. I got tons of information on my YouTube. All right. I've laid out things as clean as I possibly can. You know what I'm saying? So I'm doing the best I can to make sure that things that I learn and things that I discover are laid out in a very equal and fair way to where everyone gets all the information. I'm not holding anything back. I'm not trying to trick people into having to get this little bit of information and have to come back again, get this little bit of information and have to come back. Nah, if I only had to talk to every single person that I come across, or every national that I come across one time, I would love that. If you could get understanding and know exactly what you need to do and realize that who you are and to just do it from one conversation to where you never have to call me again, I would be happy. I'll be so happy. You don't even understand. You don't even understand. So that's what makes my mind different from other people who put out information and they're trying to make fiat off of that. It's not about the fiat. That's not richness or wealthy to me. Wealthy to me is like, hey, bro, a brother that I helped a while ago, a sister that I helped. Hey, brother, cool. You know, I just finished up setting up our tribe. You know what I'm saying? We just got some property. We got some land out here. You know, anytime you need to come down, just give me a holler. Let me know. There's a room waiting for you. That's wealthy, yo. That is wealthy. Not me trying to work extra hard to scam you. Do you know that that a person has to work twice as hard to scam someone? Think about that. You got to work twice as hard, 3 times as hard to scam somebody rather than just being upfront. Me, I like to work smart, not hard. So I will never do anything consciously to where I'm working more than I need to. And let me rephrase that. To where I'm putting in more work, or I'm doing the work in a way that causes it to be more troublesome than it needs to be. Simplify. Lay it all out. Simplify. Simplify. That's what it's about. Simplify. You know what I'm saying? And then, so once again, how many people you heard talk about 508c1a? I've only heard one brother talk about a 508c1a. You know who that was? And I gotta respect him. I gotta respect him, and I gotta respect him because his views are similar to mine. Because that's how I feel. And that's Brother C. Cannon Bay. I agree with him on a lot that he does, because a lot of us as Moors are bullshitting in these temples. We're bullshitting. We're bullshitting, we're bullshitting, and we're bullshitting. You know what I'm saying? And he sees it the same way I see it. So I got to thank Brother CM Bay, because he brought, I'm sorry, Brother, wow. Brother C. Cannon Bay. I apologize. Please excuse me, brother. That's Brother Chris Cannon Bay. President Chris Cannon Bay of the USAR. All right. Now, a lot of people bugging, oh, he's trying to be the president, stuff like that. See, y'all don't understand. Once again, y'all don't understand what the prophet said. The prophet said it is time for every man to worship under his own vine and fig tree. Under his own. You know what that means, under your own? That means as a nation, we established the Moorish Empire. The Moorish Empire was made up of everybody's little tribes and sects and groups and aboriginal organizations. That's what made up the empire. So the Yamazee Moors are part of the Moorish Empire. You know what I'm saying? Brother Asir Duke of Tears, you know what I'm saying, with his movement, part of the Moorish Empire. And mind you, I'm saying this according to how people are operating. You know what I'm saying? Even now see, I really wouldn't say Moorish Science Temple of America. You know what I mean? And please correct me if I'm wrong. Last time I checked, it's a 501c3. Okay? 501c3 is a skull and bones agreement signed by President Lyndon B. Johnson. All right? So, and within a 501c3, you cannot talk or discuss anything that goes against the United States. Meaning, for some of these temples who are 501c3s, all they can do is stay in the church. Because they can't talk against the United States. So I'm like, if we're pulling our people out of slavery, why would you sign an agreement for tax exemption, right? Someone granting you tax exemption to where you can't talk about the very issues that will help uplift fallen humanity. That sounds crazy to me. But at the same token, only brother I heard talk about 508c1a, which is codified in Title 26, United States Code 26, 508c1a, which is a church. That's the first more I heard talk about that. Why? I'm pretty sure he's not the only one who knows about that. So that shows me that people who are operating intentionally to keep our own in slavery. So this is why I'm like, we gotta worship under our own vine and fig tree, as a part of the Moorish Empire, under our own vine and fig tree, creating our own individual tribes from one another, and then we can band together like brothers. You see what I'm saying? And stand tall together underneath that Moorish, underneath the Moorish flag. But understand that Moorish flag is a tree. And if you look at any tree, a tree got so many branches and leaves, you will lose count. You see what I'm saying? That doesn't mean that every branch isn't different. That doesn't mean every leaf isn't different. But yet they're all still part of that same tree. You know what I'm saying? So this is how the Moorish Empire is built. That red flag with a 5-pointed green star is the tree. And every nation that is within that empire, meaning that they have their own constitution, they have their own bylaws, they have their own flag, they have their own seal, is a part and parcel of the body or the tree. You understand what I'm saying? So understand that, and we'll get a lot done. So I've taken, like I said, it's been a while since I've done one of these, but I just want to get out. I want to talk. You know what I'm saying, to the people, get some information out, but more so just kind of like just talk. I don't really have a lot of these videos where I'm just talking, just having a regular conversation. You know what I'm saying, and not really going too much into like trust law and constitution and this. Just trying to get a basic understanding of us, of self. You know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, love y'all, fam. You know what I mean? I truly do hope and pray that my information is very helpful to those. You know what I'm saying? Who find my information helpful, and hopefully, as we continue to build and grow, we can grow together and build things together. Because, like I said, I'm not looking. I don't want followers. I want to associate with other leaders. And that should be the mentality of all Moors. No Moor should be looking for another man to follow them. That's not what Moorish science is about. That's not what Aboriginal science is about. So we need to get back to who we are and stand up. So I'm your brother Cool. Peace. Appreciate you spending the time with me, family. Islam.